It Invaded was an anime that had been on my watch list for quite some time, and after finally watching it, I can say this. It Invaded is one of my favourite anime. Now usually when I like these type of anime, everyone else hates them, but fortunately, it seems that everyone that has seen this anime agrees that it is really good. Not only that, but it feels really unique, at least in the anime medium. I am really struggling to think of an anime that is reminiscent of It Invaded. Maybe there is, but I haven't seen it. So what is It Invaded about? Well, here's the elevator pitch for It Invaded. Okay, here we go. You seen Inception? Yeah, It Invaded is basically Inception, but with serial killers. It Invaded follows Sakaido, who is a brilliant detective, as he travels into the minds of serial killers in hopes of finding clues that could aid the detectives in the real world. What I love about this concept is that it enables the design team to craft some truly impressive worlds, although nothing can top the first one if I'm being honest. Something the creators knew as well, since they returned to that world once again by the end of the season. I also love that Sakaido forgets who he is every time he enters the minds of the serial killers, and it allows us to surprisingly see some of the softer, kinder sides to his character, as his real-world alternative is very much an understandably depressed asshole. Now before I state how much I love the anime, there is one huge issue, one major thing that prevents this from being, in my opinion, the perfect anime, and that is the main villain of the anime. Now I will not spoil the identity of the villain, as the anime treats it as if it's some great secret, but if you do not work out who the big bad is, who the big cheese at the centre of this conspiracy is within the first 5 seconds of seeing his pixelated face, then I would recommend seeking medical attention. It is a strange misstep considering all the other antagonists in the anime are so well thought out, even if it's just how realistically evil they are. Now that I've stated my one and only major complaint, I mean there are a few other smaller, not really necessary to talk about issues, but it's time to talk about the plethora of positives. Firstly, Sakaido is such a great protagonist. Like I said, you really do get to see two sides to this guy. The man on the outside who has been permanently broken by personal tragedies and a worldview at odds with his peers, as well as the brilliant detective within, who has no knowledge of these tragedies and responds to things with a calmer, more understated touch. It's outstanding that I ended up loving both versions of this character, and it absolutely led me to really caring and rooting for him. It also helped the emotional scenes with this character really stick the landing. One scene in particular really lands with an impact. It's also helped that Sakaido has a great voice actor. Josh Grell absolutely nailed it with this performance. It's hard to believe that this is the same guy who voices Arm in Arlott in Attack on Titan.
The hell is this? What happened to me? How did I get broken into pieces? Does this mean I'm dead?
Is this what death is like?
I feel like I'm alive,
But how can I be alive? I've been chopped into bits.
I don't remember anything. Who am I?
Who am I?
Who am I?
Sadly, the rest of the characters outside of the villain are not on the same level as Sakaido. Fortunately, this doesn't matter too much as this is his show, and he definitely carries the entire show's weight on his back. But it would have been nice if a few of the other characters were as equally memorable as he is. I also love how unafraid this show is to get brutal and violent. I recently watched Akudama Drive and it was okay, but what was so annoying about that show was that it censored all the gore of those hideous black bars. Now fortunately, It Invaded had the balls to not censor anything. Now that doesn't mean that it's a graphic show, don't go into this expecting tits, butt and ass to be flying across the screen. Just go in knowing that anything in the anime that has the potential to be psychologically scarring to a child will not be censored. Plus I'm sure that in the dub they say the F word every now and then. The biggest surprise for me was the ending, because I actually liked it, and I usually hate endings. It was just so satisfying and left me extremely pumped for the second season that it's probably never going to get made. At least there was a sequel to this anime in the form of a manga. Yes, this is an anime original show, but it now has a manga that acts as a sequel to the show. Hopefully it can answer the remaining questions left after It Invaded's grand finale. However, in the likely case that this continuation in manga format never gets animated, I can still hand on heart say that you should watch this show. Whilst I find it doubtful that you will like this anime anywhere near as much as I do think you will leave this anime being pleasantly surprised, and you will join me in our annual prayer as we await the never coming second season. Go watch it now.